On.
It is now.
Okay, it's 7 PM on Thursday, March 13th. I'll call the meeting to order for a special meeting for the Town of Thompson Board of Finance budget workshops. And from a roll call, we'll record that all 6 members are here, present in the room. No one's on Zoom this week. And Jackson's here with us too. Thank you, Jackson. Next, item 2, we'll move on to citizen comments. I would like to remind everyone that we'd like to keep it to a 3-minute. We hate limiting people. I don't see a ton of people today, but we do often go to a 3-minute minimum, maximum 3-minute minimum. That means you can go forever. A 3-minute maximum, if indeed we start to get a bit behind, we have a lot ahead of us, but I'll start in the room first. Are there any citizens in the room that would like to make a comment? Please state your name and street address.
Sure. Ryan Knoyer, 41 Chase Road.
Speak a little louder, maybe move forward.
Yeah, you want me to come up here?
That would be perfect,
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
Of course.
There's a chair right there.
No problem.
And you said Ryan Knoyer and I knew.
41 Chase Road.
Okay,
And I wanted to follow up on the discussions that we had on the Owl Labs. And you know, the highlight of the conversation today is that we were able to obtain a lower rate. So we have obtained a discount, 15%. And in addition, there's an extra 10% discount from them. So upon negotiating with the company, and Mr. Lanky was the gentleman who was involved in that discussion. And I'm here to present to say that the price is lowered, and it's going to be you know, two of the systems here that we have are going to be for $3,000. Before, the total cost we were looking at was $4,000. So the original budget that we had presented was for $4,000. So there's a big savings in there. So I think that would be most appropriate for the library. As we said, I think that you guys had a chance to look at maybe the stuff online. And again, the purpose of this was originally for P&Z, but we also wanted to open up to everybody for Board of Finance, Board of Ed. And the point of it is to increase citizen participation. So I think that generally, you know, unfortunately, we don't have as much citizen participation as we would all like to have in government generally, and particularly among some of these board meetings, just like today. So we have the, you know, we have the stuff here. I don't know if you guys want to pass this around. This is the actual monetary side. This is what we received from the company. And, you know, it was approved by them on the marketing sales team, and also, you know, higher ups at the company as well. So in addition, there are 2 monitors that we could do as well, if that was something that you guys wanted to add in terms of the cost. The 12.5 foot monitor is marked down to $90 from $112.99, 15 foot for $147.99 versus $172.99. These are the Meeting Owl 4. That's the top of the line one. I believe the Board of Finance was very amenable to this last time when we had presented it. And again, it's supposed to be for everybody. If you guys have the pleasure of ever doing minutes and trying to use this system, it's failed enough times, and it took me 10 hours one time to do one. So I have zero confidence in that system. I have a lot of confidence in this. I've seen it in action in investment banks and many other places. And I think this is going to become the industry standard over time. So again, I'm here to talk about it. If you guys have any questions, you want to look at any of the materials, please feel free to fire out any questions that you have. All right.
So that negotiated number that you just presented, which is less, that's set with them?
It is, and that's what
Okay.
that document is that I'm passing
Right,
around.
okay.
We'll call it Exhibit A. Just to have some, you know, something from the actual company and something in writing, and it's something that they're willing to honor because they're trying to make a push into the municipality market, is my understanding of that. So
and just
that's-
to clarify, you said originally it was $4,000 for 2 systems.
That's right.
And now it's $3,000, not for each system, 3,000
Total.
total for 2 systems.
That's right.
One would reside here potentially and one in the library.
It could be that way,
Maybe
or if
around-
we had at the library, we might want to have even two at the library. If we had a big meeting, or if we
Sure.
had the big
They're-
cannabis
they're-
meeting
they're-
that John
they're
Lanky was running
transportable.
and the full, the room was
'Cause
full.
these are portable.
Yeah,
They are
They're
very
not like,
portable.
okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
that
my
makes it a lot
favorite.
easier to turn.
Okay.
move around.
Anything else? I don't want to rush you, but I want to keep things moving.
That's
We
all I
heard-
got.
We heard a fair
Yeah,
amount.
That's
We're
it.
familiar with it from the earlier sessions.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Well, thank you.
That's the pitch. I'm gonna leave this stuff up here.
You're good? John, you're good?
Yeah, I just wanna let you know that whatever's on that paper, they said,
Mhm.
we got till the end of the month. And that system could be delivered within a week.
okay.
All right.
Anyone else in the Board of Finance, any comments or questions for?
I do have a comment about it. I, subsequent to your presentation earlier, I did attend a meeting where that system, one of those types of systems was in use. It really enhances the meeting. It really is very helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
If I may, one more
Sure.
thing quickly. The gentleman, Lou, that is the rep for this area now, he gave me one unit. I had to set it up at my house on a Sunday and I got a hold of 5 people. And we demonstrated it quickly, and I walked behind a wall, and the thing could still pick me up, and I was good 20 feet away. And it was searching for me, but then when I walked back into the living room, it picked me up right away. So this system is almost like that microphone in the middle, but it has the camera and everything all in one.
Okay.
Follow me. Yeah.
And just because you commented, could you state your?
Oh,
name
I'm
and-
sorry,
And
I
street
apologize.
address. It's okay, just so we have.
John B. Linky, 304 Brickyard Road.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Moving on, is there any other citizens in the room here that would like to make a comment? Okay, seeing none, hearing none, we'll move online. Are there any citizens online at this time that would like to make a comment? Citizens online that would like to make a comment?
It's just coming in if you want.
Yeah, that's why I repeated it.
Can I move on?
Okay. We'll have a second session if there's another session for citizen comments. Okay, thank you, everyone. Now, next, we're gonna move on to the budget workshop. I wanna kick off, want to kick it over to Bill in a moment to kick us off on some of the normalization on the mill rate and a few other items. But before we do that, could the Board of Finance members look at the dates up above? We have those set out for our budget workshops. And my question to the team is, given the work we've done already with the joint workshops, do we feel like we need the 24th? We're meeting tonight, we got a meeting next week. 27th would be our third, and then we'd have 2 more. It took us 4 total last year. Are we okay? Is everyone okay if we were to cancel the 24th and do like 3 Thursdays in a row and then double up on the last week?
I would prefer to leave it there and then cancel it
Yeah.
when we get to the 20th.
Let me get closer.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would rather hold it
Okay.
at this point.
that's fine. Anyone else have a comment on that? There was a request to maybe use the room, so, but I don't want to prematurely cancel it. That's fine. I think we're fine. I'm just optimistic that we're gonna not need it, but that's okay.
Uh,
Yes,
You're alone.
I'm alone. I'm with you. I feel
All right,
like this.
I do too.
I feel like we're pretty well ahead of the game in terms of the joint meetings, but, okay, so with that, Bill, if you could, maybe walk us through your work on the, it was a reval year, right? So the grand list has changed, we're gonna normalize the mill rate. And then I think you were gonna also, maybe then go into some of the Board of Selectmen adjustments, since we met with them jointly. And then from there, we'll kick off the revenue side. That sound good?
Sure.
Okay.
So we thought it made sense to obviously with all of this, because there's not only the revaluation, which as everyone knows was significant, there's also a couple other things going on. So to arrive at sort of an adjusted base mill rate as a jumping off point from fiscal 2025, where we were at 28.11 as passed last year. We had the effect of the revaluation, which had the effect of reducing the mill rate by 9.1 mil. The effect of new construction, which is something that happens every year, but something that we figure in, they also had the effect of reducing it by 0.6 mil. The new thing that's a bit unusual for everybody this year, is this motor vehicle valuation method change. You may recall in the last couple of years, motor vehicle used prices were actually, rising, which put many people in a first-time situation where their vehicle tax bill went up. And as you might imagine, not too many people were happy with that. So the state of Connecticut legislature moved, to change that methodology to a set depreciation schedule. The effect of that was to pull $21.6 million out of the grand list. From last year's appreciated values of used vehicles to their new schedule of a depreciation table. That had the effect of adding 0.8 mil back in. And then we have what in row 36 there, what is currently an estimate, although I checked with our assessor today, and he still stands by that estimate of the effect of Board of Assessment Appeals adjustments. They're actually meeting upstairs right now. I think they have 3 meetings left after this. So that has a relatively modest impact of 0.12. That takes us from the 28.11 to an adjusted baseline mill rate that you'll see as we progress through. I've actually included it on the cover page right there of 19.29. So that's sort of what I'm proposing that the board consider as sort of the true jumping off point for this year's analysis versus comparing it to the last year's 28.11, which, you know, it makes it look like we've had a significant mill rate decrease. And obviously we all know that the effect of reval is the most significant thing. So that's the proposed base mill rate adjusted for revaluation that I would think is a logical basis for comparison. Given that, where we are right now with the current Board of Ed budget and the Selectmen's proposed budget, the increase is 1.92 mils. So unless there's questions on there, I'd really like to focus on the adjustments coming from the Board of Selectmen since your last joint meeting. You've had this analysis since the town's presentation. I'd like to get through it relatively quickly for the benefit of the audience, folks who haven't had a chance to digest it on one slide. In summary, the Selectmen cut $572,000 from the original proposed budget. Those cuts, believe it or not, ranged from $20 on up. So in the first Selectmen budget, they reduced the travel line to a placeholder amount of $5. Finance and treasurer, those guys are trying to gouge you for an obscene amount of office supplies, so they trimmed it back by $100 there. I might be biased on that one, but town council, there was originally a proposed $10,000 increase to the budget. The Selectmen reconsidered that, looked at all because there's several legal lines there, and they felt that the budget as it existed last year would be sufficient. So they actually rolled back that requested $10,000 increase. Moving down to fire departments, you've got a few moving parts here. Amy had a great catch on the volunteer fire insurance. As you know, on many things, as we've been budgeting, rather than just growing by an expected percent increase over the prior year budget, we've been looking at actual, for example, like on benefits. Well, come to find out, we had not been doing that on volunteer fire insurance. So we had been applying that expected increase to the budget number. So that budget increase had been compounding. So what we've done is we've adjusted that down to equal the 10% expected increase based on last year's actual spending. So that was actually a significant save of about $53,000. So that was a fantastic catch. The other moving part in fire, the fire department grants were increased to $90,000. That had moved in a couple of ways since last joint meeting. Originally, we simply had last year's budget in there. Then we had changed the fire department grants number to the sum of what each individual department had asked for. And then ultimately the decision was made from the selectmen to move that to $90,000 per department. So all in all of that adds up to a decrease of $48,000. K-9 operation trimmed back a couple of expense lines back to prior year budgeted amounts. Town garage, was a reduction in some maintenance, in one of the maintenance lines based on historical spending in that specific maintenance line. So that was a $5,000 adjustment. In public works, the equipment rental line was increased to facilitate rental of an asphalt roller instead of purchasing the capital. So you'll see when we get to the capital cuts that they did remove the asphalt roller, but they did provide for that, for one to be rented instead. There was also a slight increase in equipment repairs. Snow removal, despite your finance director's protest, they trimmed back $35,000 from, yes, admittedly, a doomsday scenario that we saw last year, but that's how I budgeted, simply because we don't have a lot of surplus to fall back on. So there was a $35,000 reduction to salt and sand already. General services, there's a few moving parts here. United Services were reduced by 4,900, Teague by 15,000, although 6,000 of that will, of their contribution will be coming out of opioid funds, which is off budget. QB Seniors was reduced by 750, and Eastern Connecticut Land Bank, I believe, was removed in its entirety. So a $5,000 reduction there. Veteran Service, that's a $3,000 reduction to the requested increase of, I think, brought it up to 8,000. This trims it back to 5,000 in the salary line in the Veterans Department. Economic and Community Development. So really, these, the lines, oops. The next 5 lines really are all related. As you know, the salary lines in those budgets had been moved into community development. The selectmen decided to move them back. They largely offset. The only difference is in the Planning and Zoning Commission. The OWL meeting technology had been cut. So you'll notice that the sum of these changes is $4,000 different than the reduction from community development, and that's why. Moving down to capital expenditures, most significant cuts. The selectmen removed the 9-ton at $278,000 and the asphalt roller, as we mentioned above, at $78,000. In addition, in the transfer budget, they reduced the paving by $90,000. No doubt by now, Mr. Herbert has noticed that the budget that we're starting with here is a little bit different from our last budget. And the reason there is because of one of the aspects is the change in the fire department budgets had been done in the baseline budget. And also, while these meetings were happening, we actually caught a break in that the interest rate on the debt that we will be, the refinancing of the track and the security, as well as the debt, the 4.2 million for the HVAC, so totaling 5.8 million, which by the way is happening next week, came in at 3.73%, which is lower than, I think we were at 4.25 or so. So that was about a $30,000 savings. So when you roll all that together, the Board of Selectmen proposed budget that you're using as your starting point is roughly $600,000 less than the last budget you saw in your joint meeting. Any questions on those changes?
These changes were done after you met with the departments and the applicants, if you will. Is that correct? No, they weren't there when you made the changes.
Right. No, it was the Board of Selectmen. Some of the departments were invited, they could have attended.
The firemen.
Well, the firemen, for most of them, they got an increase, so.
Did two not show up? Did I miss, did the Hill not come?
They were the first meeting.
They were
They
the
were
first.
in the first meeting.
Okay.
You missed them.
And the last budget didn't had the old, had last year's number in it as well.
For fire, right? Well,
For fire.
So there's kind of a 2-tier change to fire.
Yeah.
We had last year's budget originally, then we switched it to the sum of their requests. And then
Be adjusted.
ultimately it's been adjusted here to 90,000 per.
So we went up on 3 and down on 1.
Up on 2,
85,
Down on
85, 85,
it was
90,
85,
90,
80,
95.
yeah, and 95, yeah.
Okay, so you kind of blended everybody to 90.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, a couple are getting increases. But over
Of
the
what
state,
they asked.
they're getting more than they requested.
So that gets us to our starting point.
Okay.
At this point, if it pleases the board, we could move to our revenue pages. We do still have a couple of.
I guess just pause if there's anybody has any questions on the adjustments that. we just-
What was it I heard about the ambulance, 44,000 more? Is that,
That has not been presented to us as of yet,
and are they anticipating that being in next year's budget?
potentially. But they haven't come.
They haven't come, but we know it's coming. So you gotta put it in and go from there. You can't not ignore it. I mean, we can't just say, if they come,
Right.
if we do our budget
That'll
workshop.
happen after.
Yeah, no, I know, but yeah.
So, yes.
Just keep in mind, we gotta put it in there. All right.
And did we have an offset for that? Anywhere?
What do you mean?
For the ambulance increase?
Well, I know on the
Not for the
base,
increase.
on the base, we had, okay, so we took the offset for the equipment itself that we sold. We already took
Right, that comes
Okay.
out of the base
Yeah, so it's a true full 44.
contract. But if you recall, the contract states that they can come to the town and ask for more.
I remember. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to put that, Brian, we're gonna need to park that for now, but not forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, let's not put it in the long-term parking, maybe short-term.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Bill, back to you. Yeah, we can jump.
Okay.
Unless anyone else has any questions, we can jump into revenue.
Right.
Okay.
So moving to the state and federal grants revenue.
Sorry, Bill.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt you again, just for Nathaniel's sake, this first cycle through. We reviewed the revenue, Nathaniel, but we don't have a lot of influence over the revenue. In other words, we're not gonna talk about permits for the transfer station. This is
Got it.
set by others, but it's good for us to understand where the sources of income are coming.
Okay,
All right, sorry about that.
Thank you.
So page 5 to start. The top number there, that's just a summary roll up of the underlying. So the meat starts on page 5. Current taxes, you'll notice is still yellow at the moment because that number will change depending on where the budget goes. So what we really need to talk about is lines 4 through 6. These numbers are directly from Scott Antonson, our tax collector. Prior year taxes of $350, interest and liens of $235, and motor vehicle supplement of $250. Moving on to state and federal grants, we do have a few yellow numbers here, and then we don't have the current year number. They're relatively small, and the current numbers here are based on what we actually received last year, so I'm pretty confident in them. The other gray numbers are we have received from the state. The telephone access tax actually came in today, because this number was in there for your previous budget. I didn't change it. However, unfortunately, that number has to be moved down by $2,138, because what we've typically done with this, they tell us during the fiscal year in March what we're receiving for the current fiscal year. So then, like last year, they told us we would get the 19,232, and that's what we put in as the budget, because that's the best estimate we have at the time. The email just came in, and this year's number is 17,094. So I believe we should move that down. I don't know if we need a motion for that, or it's because it's an opening adjustment. I'll just put that in for everyone to see. And then we'll be in the right spot there.
Or maybe we can just make one motion after you're finished with.
Yeah,
just-
Right. I think that makes.
I'd agree with that, Dave.
Okay. Moving on to local revenue. Finance and investment, as you'll probably remember, we had a pretty spirited discussion last year on how to budget for investment income. This year, we are starting to see some of those interest rate declines. So I decreased the budget there from 190,000 down to 150,000, a $40,000 decrease. I think everything indicates those declines will unfortunately continue. So I think that's pretty reasonable. Not a lot of change until we get down to building fees. This was developed with John Noli, our new building inspector. The expected increases comes from a number of factors that I think we've talked about a number of times in meetings. Just, I guess, more aggressive enforcement, I guess, would be a nice general way to say it. But his estimate of the increase was $30,000. Recycling and tipping fees, the increases were based on prior year amounts. Transfer station permits, I worked with Scott Antonson and David Dalby. This is built literally from the ground up based on expected sales on the 8 or 9 different flavors, believe it or not, of dump passes that we have. You'll notice it's a decrease. Unfortunately, it's actually the effect of the aging of the population in Thompson. When folks reach 65 years old, they get a 50% off on their dump.
Damn right we do. That's the only thing I got going for me.
They raised it a couple of years ago.
I know,
Brian.
I know.
The population is moving that way, and apparently the younger folks don't like going to the dump, so they aren't placing. So that's why you have a decrease there. The next significant change is the 3 rows pilot. This is a budget that probably should have been increased in prior years, and this is really based on the actuals we've received. This formula is actually driven by rental income over at 3 rows. There must be higher occupancy. So this $72,000 really reflects what we've received over the last couple of years. So that kind of gets us where we need to be. No changes down below. Turtle Lot Fund is still yellow at this point. We could probably shift it to gray. We just met the other day with our investment advisors and they let us know we're well above the floor. So I think that $100,000 will stick. However, it's really budget neutral because it's in and out. So it really doesn't have a heck of a lot of effect on this conversation. Moving on to other sources.
Question, Billy, are you done with page 7?
Yes.
Yeah, on the 150,000 in investment income.
Yep.
That's a pretty, I mean, it's a small drop, it drops 40 off of the budget, it's like 70 off of the current run rate. Meaning what you were able to do this year. Based on the influx of tax bills going out, let's say, for July 1, right? Because you're gonna get all this done in time. Is there an opportunity to lock any of this in for a longer period of time? And I recognize you need the cash flow, the cash flow is a lot different than.
Sure.
than-
No, it's something I could definitely explore. Yep.
Yeah, because there might be more volatility later in the year or into
Sure.
early 26, so. If you did with that, how might you think about that 40,000?
You might be able to cut it by a third or trim it back by a third,
When you say cut it back, you mean,
lessen the decrease.
From 40 to 30 or 30 to 20, 28-ish.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yep. Revenue, other sources, not a heck of a lot going on here. It reflects the borrowing that's also went in and out. One thing I would like to bring to the board's attention, because it is new this year. And maybe someone in the room will have clarity on this because we couldn't find it in the town hall. We had just historically been removing $7,000 from the dog fund. And moving it over as a revenue transfer. The dog fund at this point is down to $19,000 in large part due to this practice. So I think it's and partially as a move to preserve the kind of hard fought dollars in the dog fund. And acknowledging that there's some capital improvements that have to happen at the kennel, at the, what are we supposed to call it now? Shelter. Sorry. We took away that $7,000 transfer. So that was a whirlwind tour through revenues. Any questions?
Are you confident that you're gonna save some of that money on the interest? How confident are you really?
No, it's locked in.
No, like what we talked about on the 40,000.
The
Oh,
front end.
The front, yeah.
So
I mean, realistically, are you?
I would need to do some work around the options there, but I think that would be a reasonable impact.
I'd rather have a pleasant surprise.
Hmm.
Than an unpleasant one. So I'd rather budget a little bit lower, expected income a little bit lower.
Well, we could just note it for now,
Okay.
you know, see how dire things are later. Few meetings down the line.
So
Okay, yes, thank you.
back to you.
So before we move into the cost side, the next time we meet, in addition to the analysis on the mill rate, Bill's gonna share with us kind of as detailed as he can, and it's still an estimate, but where we think the surplus is gonna land as a percent of the new budget, at the end of the fiscal year. So
And
we'll
the
have a
current
line of
year.
sight.
At the end of the current year.
Correct.
Yes.
Right, because that'll be an important number, as we know where it was at the start of the year. We've been working hard to kind of improve that all year. We have some overs, some unders, you know, where are we really gonna land? And I think it'd be important that we have that number before we finalize the budget here, so we'll talk about that a little more next week. With that, unless there's any objections from the board, we can move over into the cost side of the equation. Sound good to everyone? For Nathaniel, we usually go through these, Nathaniel by department in detail questions, stay on it until we're done, then we move on. Just because we move on doesn't mean we move on forever. Right, so
Got it.
if there's something in a parking lot, something I don't know, I might want to address it later, because sometimes it's really hard to understand where we might want to move things until we understand, we have the whole, you know, the totality of the whole thing. So,
Makes sense. Okay.
yeah, so we can come back and visit anything if we vote on something. And it passes or doesn't pass, we're allowed to go back and readdress that too. So with that, Bill, do you want to take us to page?
Should I have a few comments before we take a strong look?
Absolutely, yes. Dave, go
Okay.
ahead.
I have spent some time going over the numbers that have been presented. And I have some serious concern at this point. Using the information that Paul gave us earlier in our deliberations. He's predicting that the average assessment in the prior year was 155,680. And the average assessment in the new year will be 247,960, which you see is a significant increase in the average assessment. Based on just looking at the average, last year on the old mill rate, 2811, that would have generated a tax of $4,376. This year, based on the adjusted tax rate that Bill just mentioned, 19.29, that would result in $4,783 taxing, which is an increase of $407 on the average, which means that many are going to pay much more than that, and some are going to pay much less than that. When we look at his change ratio for existing houses by street, to give people an understanding, Barnett Acres, the assessment's up 67%. Dennis Drive in Wilsonville, up 75%. East Thompson Road, up 72%. Gomo Road, 58%. Sunset Hill Road, 53%. Top View Drive, 73, Valley Road, 60, West Thompson Road, 54%, Wrightson Drive, which is on Aquatic Lake, 138% increase. So I will suggest to you that the impact that we are looking at of an increase of 1.93, is it, or 92? Is really an impossibility. I don't see it happening. If we don't sharpen the pencil in the next couple of weeks, I think we're in for a few referendums this year. Because once people realize the cost to them, based on it, even an equal without an increase in the tax rate, I'm not sure they're gonna be very happy. That's all I have at this moment.
Well, I'm happy you didn't say Chase Road, but I'm still.
I didn't have it.
Oh,
If Paul
damn it.
had put it up, and I won't mention what happened to me, because I'm on the upper end.
Fine.
One question I have, Dave, is normally when we go through this and when you normalize the mill rate, the average would then be at zero with no mill rate increase. So I'm not necessarily challenging your numbers, but I wouldn't expect a $407 increase on the average assessment.
I'm just basing it on Paul's numbers, that's all.
All I'm suggesting.
He tells me that's what the average assessment is. If that's the average assessment based on the new mill rate, that's what it comes out to be. So I don't know the details, how
Okay.
it's formulated.
I
I don't know if it's the median mode or
Yeah,
I think you said it was the median, not the average.
I don't either.
It's a
I
minor
don't
point, but
either.
was it the median?
I believe so.
That's different then.
Well, it is. That's the middle.
No, there's nothing higher or lower, the midpoint, because as many went up over that as when,
Mhm.
or went
Yeah.
under that, at that percentage.
It just, there's a lot of energy went into
I'm not-
normalizing the mill rate. Dave, hear me out, please.
Yeah.
I like your assessment. I took a lot of notes. It's important. In this, either the average assessment is off or the normalized mill rate is off, because the average assessment before, at the prior assessment at 28.1 and the average new assessment at 1929 should pretty much be flat. So if it's the median, then it's different. And I just don't want, the
Yeah.
public's listening and, we're hearing.
Right,
So
okay.
I don't want people to feel like no matter what, even at a flat mill rate, I've got a $407 increase. So I'm not debating your numbers, I'm just clarifying.
I know
So-
what my increase is on a flat.
I
It's
know.
in the thousands.
I know, a lot of people do.
That if we don't raise and more taxes, and we're not saying we are or won't. But if you don't actually raise the taxes that we're going to raise this coming year, if you don't raise the total amount rate that people pay is the same. To your point, it's
Not-
zero.
not really,
Some
because-
some will be more, some will be less, but if, unless we change the amount we raise, you don't
No.
automatically change the tax.
I don't agree
For
with you,
people.
Steve.
Okay. Any other comments from the group? All right, let's move into, is it page 9?
Yes. Yes.
Page 9 is, Board of Finance. Up 2.86%. Primarily driven by the, audit for our contract with King and King. Which I don't see us doing much there. I think we shopped this last time. And
Yeah.
it's not favorable.
We had
And then-
bids and they were a little low.
And right, and then there's an increase for the recording secretary of 4%. Anybody have any questions, comments, or,
No.
Looks good to me.
okay? Move to page 10. Board of Selectmen, 3.17%. About half of it's coming from salaries on the top two lines. And then we're seeing the $359 increase. And row 12. Town dues and memberships. Comments, concerns, questions?
The only, if I might, to discuss, and it's not lowering the amount we might want to raise, is the CCM. I know we've not done it, I think last year or the year before. But this is, as we thinking about this, it reminds me of NATO. Where some countries have not done their share. But they take advantage of the protection provided by other countries who do their share. And this is a little bit like that, in the sense that CCM works for all the towns. And they all contribute. And I think we're one or two towns that would not contribute, and I'm not sure that's the right thing to do. You know, it's kind of nice not to spend that, but it's sort of not doing our share. We're getting the advantage, but we're not doing a share. And I kind of think, again, I was thinking about sort of the NATO issue where countries have taken advantage of protection offered by other countries who do more than their share. And, they have that advantage, but they don't pay. And I don't think that was right for the NATO countries, and I'm not sure it's right for the town of Thompson.
I don't recall what that amount was. Do you, Steve?
$5,000, maybe?
It's about 6,500 now.
I've attended a couple, well, maybe one or two of their conferences, and I got something out of it. I'm not sure its actual value. But again, I know their value in terms of presenting what municipalities, the issues for municipalities are to the state government, to the legislature. They do that for us. And again, I'm not sure it's right not to pay our share, even though we get away with it.
So I have a question on that. Does it have to be 65 or nothing? Is it a black and white thing, or is
I-
it
I
like,
think
hey,
it's
you
like
could do
based on-
two?
I think
and
it's like based on
it's flat?
population or
Okay.
something.
It's a matter of interpretation as to, this is Amy St. Ange, by the way, for anybody who's in the Zoom audience. It's a matter of interpretation as far as how much CCM actually does for the town. And so that would be a matter of debate.
If we were Bridgeport, Hartford, New Haven, whatever, CCM stands up for them. I understand what you're saying. It's like, for us, the Lutheran Church, the synod, what do they do for us? But they want $3,000, but they don't help us out with anything, well, we're on our own anyways. I understand what you're saying, Steve, but if it's a big city, they'll stand up for them in a heartbeat. They'll throw us some scraps here and there, and we'll get you a little grant here or there. I'm just being, that's how I look at it, but certainly, if we say to them, look, we can't afford 6,000, but you know what? At least we'll give you something towards it. Maybe that helps out a little bit, but
Maybe a compromise would be
Yeah.
appropriate, but again, I'm a
Yeah.
little concerned about not doing anything, not doing any sort of our share.
Dave?
I'm going back a few years, I guess, but Amy, is there not an organization in the state that represents the small communities?
Cost, we also don't belong to cost.
In the,
NECOG has actually been advocating quite well for the town. And I feel like they're our bigger voice,
are they a
at a
big,
bigger price tag too.
are they a bigger voice with the state or with the local communities?
For NECOG?
No,
Oh, for cost.
Yeah.
I don't put a lot of value in those organizations.
all I'm
That's
saying is there's a
what
lot.
I saw when I first took over.
There's a lot of
That's the way-
turmoil going on in Hartford at the present time, and it really looks as the small communities are gonna take a hit in a number of different ways. Just saying.
Okay, any other comments or actions here? Okay, hearing none, moving on to page 11. First selectman. That was Board of Selectmen. First selectman budget up 2.9%. Salary lines. HR is shared, you'll see a piece of that in the BOE. Several reductions below that. Any questions or actions or comments from the group? Hearing none, we'll move on to page 12. Data processing up 12.65%. Largely driven by the server update of $7,000 on line 11. And on line 4, professional services are up 5,600. Those are the two main drivers.
let's see, server update, it went up 72,582%.
Yeah, because it had 10 bucks in there last year.
prior year.
That really stands out.
Well, in truth, it's going down from the current year. It's a reduction.
Yeah.
So. I don't know enough about this line to be able to
You know.
say it's right or wrong, to be honest with you.
You're a little too precise there, Bill. You know, that's-
Greater than 100.
well, you could have just put 7258 over there, you know? I can't read it, I'm guessing. Although,
I
okay. All right,
tend to like to see these kind of things spread out over multiple years. It's a big increase all in 1 year. I don't have any proposed actions here, but 1.6%, it might be something we revisit. Find out what's most dire and what can be
Well, how essential, I know we've heard about it prior, but how essential is it?
correct. Don't know.
I mean, for cybersecurity, if the server is related to that, it's not something that we want to delay. Because our insurance rating is based upon being cyber secure. We don't want ever anything to happen like happened in Plainfield.
So that's related to the 7258.
I would say. Heather's not in the audience, but I could find out.
I'm pretty sure it is, Dave.
Well, again, the 7268 is actually a reduction from the current year spending. Big jump over the budget, but not over what we actually been spending.
All right.
Yeah, professional services is up quite a bit as well.
Yeah, that is,
It's
double,
double.
yeah.
I don't know how the others feel. I'd like to learn a little more about what's most essential, what's most dire here. Cybersecurity is a big issue, but at the same time, do we do all of these in 1 year or do we look to chunk these out over several years? It's a big increase. The prior year had a sizable increase as well. Okay.
Question
Any other-
for Bill?
Yep.
What are we looking at as our contingency fund this year?
There's currently a proposed $10,000
No.
increase to 100.
What is it currently?
Currently for 25, it's 90,000.
No. What do we have left in it?
Oh, we haven't touched it yet, although
Okay, thank you.
I think in your next meeting, you probably will, based on salt and sand.
That might be an option, Rob, if we get some information.
An idea of how much are over on the salt and sand?
70 right now.
So
That
at least 20.
Right, and you probably need that to cover, if I had to guess, I haven't had a chance to look at the overtime numbers, but they move in lockstep with salt and sand, so. Yeah, that's probably gonna eat into that 20.
Do we have a complete picture of the budget, both on the town side and the school side, as to where we stand at this point in time? I mean, we ended the year last year with a 400,000 plus surplus
Mhm.
on one side.
Right, right now, the school is just in the black, just on the black side of break even.
Yep.
And the town, we were actually running the numbers for this month now, but the town is actually in better shape.
So we'll see that report.
At
Next
your
week.
meeting Next week.
That'll be through 7 months.
Right.
I'm sorry, through 8 months. It'll be through 8 months. So we'll have a 2/3 out
Okay.
with 4 months to go next week.
Thank you, Bill.
That includes the deficit that they're having in special ed. They're cutting it close and that's taken into account.
Yes,
Okay.
because everything's been
All right.
locked down.
Okay. So we'll look forward to that next week, Bill. On page 12. I think it'd be helpful, Amy, if you could ask
I
Heather.
made a note.
Thank you.
I'll check with her
The
tomorrow.
other thing that's a little bit confusing to me is under row 12, it says software updates, but yet the comment says server updates. So servers are usually hardware and
Right.
software is usually software. So I just like to understand from her what's most dire, what's most essential. If she had to kick something in the next year, what would it be?
Okay,
Hopefully it's the 5 or the 7.
Yeah, well, I'd be looking at what do we need to provide the security that
That's right.
is necessary?
That's right.
Whether it's in this budget or whether we are able to do it at this point in time.
Right. Prior to the end of this year, is what you're saying. If this funding.
It would be, what they're saying is critical, and I agree.
Okay.
We don't, this is down here, but it doesn't explain what it is.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for that.
I don't
Okay.
know.
No, I don't know more than
All right.
in terms of that.
That horse is dead.
We'll get through
That
it.
horse
Okay.
is dead.
Any other questions on page 12 under the data processing from the group? We're going to move on.
Move on.
Hold on, we're moving on. Page 13, finance and treasurer, up 2.73%.
The board had asked that I split my certification related spending between the two. I did. You'll see the decreases in line 10 and 11. And then there was the $100 reduction to office supplies in the selectmen meeting.
Okay, $50 in office supplies or 100? Oh, 100, I see it.
800.
Yep, I see it.
Yeah. Everybody's gonna bring their own pencils.
Any questions on page 13,
I'm gonna donate them.
finance and
I'm
treasurer,
gonna donate pencils. and things.
comments, questions,
Thank you, Tom.
actions? Okay, if not, we'll move
I
on to
control
page
my budget.
14,
I do.
tax collector. 5.02%.
Is that mostly absorbed in training?
A lot of it was.
Yeah, yes.
There's a fair amount of training.
Actually,
Little concern, unfortunately, in the other direction, advertising, actually you've seen that decline. Lower than last year, I'm sorry, lower than the current year and lower than last year. That's great if they can do it, but
I believe Scott actually mapped it out based on current rates, and I think he might have been running it. See a different size ad or something,
Oh, okay.
something different than what had been done historically. And
I don't recall
it.
it.
He's gonna advertise the same font that we're looking at. Safe space and money. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I didn't say that.
So, let's not hold them together for me here, Bill. On the column FY 26 to FY 25 dollar change. See the 68.50 on the top.
I
And the
think
next,
if you look at line, it might be on line 13A. I'm missing a formula on 13A there. Oh, because that was an added line for the QDS item. So I'll need to fix that change column. Sorry about that, guys.
so in totality, their budget's going to 190, the recommendation is to 194
Right,
from an approved budget last year of 184.
right. Oh, we still.
And that for 180.
It looks like it's still
Looks like
correction
it's-
to 180.
Even more dramatic.
Questions, comments? Tax collector?
I'm just gonna say it. I don't wanna say it. I'm just gonna say it.
Go ahead, say it, please, Brian.
Is it necessary to send everybody in the same year for these training? I mean, is it gonna be spaced out a little bit? I mean, we're just asking, just I'm joking about pencils and,
I think the increase is because there's two.
there's two going. Yeah, I'm saying is that maybe we have to,
Alternate.
alternate,
could
do
definitely
one
fix
and
Yep.
certainly for me, my people are all licensed and better for me, but in this situation, we have Scott and if another one gets certified, okay, and then the next year we look at somebody else, take turns or something. We gotta start looking at someplace.
Yes, Dave.
do we have different levels of certification here, Bill?
Yes, I know David Dalton is at least partially down the road, if I remember right.
Yeah.
He's already started, I think he finished one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many levels do you have, do you know?
I think there's one and two,
Yeah.
Just 2 levels.
Yeah.
just 2 levels, yeah.
So in reality, will he be taking 2 this year, or is he?
I think he was
I
intending to
think
take
it's,
2.
I think there's 4 modules. 2 for the level 1 and 2 for level,
Okay.
so
So he's level 1 then.
he's only, he level.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well,
You
I threw something out there. It came right back to me.
might chat with Scott and see that.
Yeah, I made a note.
How much pain that would cost him, and if you could bridge it.
Next year,
this
I'm gonna bring
year.
How much, was there a voltage increase in here? Was that part of the driving force on the supply?
That's on the town hall.
Yeah, it was actually a decrease.
It was a decrease on Scott's side and then an increase on the.
Mhm.
side.
Is there any way to send bills out electronically, like email, instead of putting postage stamp on it?
I don't know if they can. I think they have to go by mail.
I think it has to be mailed.
Because we've always done it,
But
and
some of us don't have email addresses.
maybe it's safe. I mean, obviously, one doesn't matter, but
It's sort of like.
1,000 man would be some.
You can't count on everybody having an
It's
email.
similar to publishing
We
legal
do a number
notices.
of the water and sewer bills online, but we still send the bill because the bill is sent to that house. And if it
Right.
doesn't get accepted, it comes back to us. We get it, whatever reason.
Wrong address.
They'll say in a heartbeat, you never sent it to me, how do I know what they got on their computer? But we send quite a few out for the water and sewer department. and possibly-
Electronically.
Yeah, electronic, but we still send the hard copy.
Some towns only send one, they don't send the second half
Yeah.
in January, that's pretty common.
But this, we're.
Yeah.
This day and age, we don't get too much
Well,
mail anymore.
That's right.
Well, appropriate, yeah.
Well, the
Any
only,
other- any other
the
comments?
January one is just the usually supplemental motor vehicle taxes. I never get a second copy on my real estate. Or motor vehicle, well,
You get both in the same. Same time.
you get both initially in July 1,
Yeah.
but the supplemental goes out
Right.
January 1.
All right.
Anything else on page 14 from the group?
No.
Okay, we'll move on to page 15. Assessors. Department 1303, 4.27%. Any questions here, comments? It's majority of it is wages at the top, and then it looks like a $1,500 increase on GIS maintenance and updates. Are the main drivers.
Was there actually something on the GS that's making it change from prior years? Is there actual, or is that just,
I think it was an update and an increase of service. Mapping had to do with the mapping.
yeah, I think there was a real change.
Yeah.
So, just a today topic with conversation with Paul, he's actually trying to address that increase. He's looking into a couple other vendors. And he does have a lead that he's working on right now that might reduce that.
Okay. What's the follow-up there, Bill? Is he gonna loop back with you? That's
Yes,
really
yeah,
encouraging.
actually, that literally happened in the hallway this afternoon, so
Yeah.
he's trying to chase it down.
Okay. Paul's looking into an alternate vendor.
Mhm.
Could be lower.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments, actions around Department 1303, assessor? Okay, let's flip the page to 16. Please jump in if someone feels like I'm moving too fast. Board of Assessment Appeals, 1305. 3.67% increase. $220 of the 215 is salaries.
Nothing there.
Nothing
That's
here.
it.
Office
That's it.
supplies
I was gonna say, there's nothing there.
No,
You're not the only one, Bill. Office supplies are going down here and. We'll flip the page to 17, elections and registrations. This one's about as predictable as salt and sand. Really driven by the number of referendums, and none of us are gonna know. For sure.
Mhm.
We're gonna have them coming.
What did Frank say? It was about $7,200 per,
Yes,
something like
Yep.
that?
Mhm.
With the new rule. Or the new staffing requirement, I guess, new to Thompson staffing requirement.
Yeah.
No.
And then I don't see it in here. I know it's somewhere else in the budget, but there's also a requirement to have cameras on the early ballot.
It's
box.
in
That's
capital.
capital.
Capital,
it's
yeah.
in Capital, but that's somewhat,
Related,
Related.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just start serving them hot dogs and beans. That's it. I don't want anything else out there. Nothing fancy. No. Bread, bean, that's it.
Bread and water.
That's, I'm good with that. Yeah.
so,
They can bring their own donuts.
and the main driver for going down? I don't recall now.
Machine work, I think that had to happen, with maybe early voting or something that wouldn't be recurring.
Okay, that's the 2890 going down.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone have anything else here?
Nope.
Negative 278. Okay. Okay, we'll flip the page to 18, town clerk. 3.75% increase. Looks like all but 600 of it is salaries, 4% on salaries.
Stay away. You're slipping on me.
Thanks.
I kind of like savings. Don't make me tell my daughter.
The record restoration is, do we sort of get ever caught up to that, or is that a year, is that doing the current year's recording, do you know?
I believe it's every year, there's more.
Just the current year, it's not,
Right.
it's not a catch up, which you could eventually
No.
catch up kind of thing. Not doing it.
I think we did some catch up a few years.
Yeah.
ago.
That's what I remember.
Might have been
It's
under
still-
capital. Might have been under capital, it was a chunk.
It was a chunk, but I don't think it was capital.
Yeah. That was the
It was
catch
a
up.
big
and then-
project.
I was kind of hoping that maybe we're
Yes.
reaching the end of that.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be nice.
Well,
Okay,
it's still in
Good
there,
idea.
5,000.
Right, right.
Bottom line.
yeah.
All right.
Can you look back on that one? Steve brings up a good point. If our recollection's right, that was supposed to be a period of time and then drift down. It was supposed to catch up.
I thought it was a higher amount at one point.
I think
Years-
The
a few
actual
years
spending
ago.
has been,
And now it's just.
was $6,000 a few years
Yeah,
ago.
but
Yeah,
But we can check with Renee.
yeah, just if we could. I think it's a double check. Do we need it? And is it going on forever or does it fall off when we catch up? Any other questions or comments on page 18, town clerk 1501?
just one,
There you
and
go.
that's the connection between line 9 and line 21. In line 9, it's listed as indexing and recording microfilm. And then record restoration is digitizing land records. So are we maintaining records in actually 3 different forms: original, digital, and microfiche? I don't know.
We'll get those questions answered for you.
Thank you.
Hoping the microfilm is just, not really microfilm anymore.
Right.
Yeah, it may-
Digitizing it somehow, but not a microfilm.
well, then we have 2 lines. See.
I mean, hopefully it's just a label.
Then we'll need more servers. It doesn't go away, it goes somewhere else.
Right.
But hopefully it's more efficient. 'Cause that was pretty labor intensive. Okay, anything else on page 18 from the group? No. Okay, let's flip to page 19, town council. This is where BOS, we need $10,000 on labor and legal matters. So that's flat, it's showing a flat budget.
Yeah.
And we anticipate some legal labor matters. Oh, she left.
No, dummy.
Well, didn't they just settle the contract?
Do we have any pending
Yes, I think it
contracts?
is. We do not have, I don't think we have a pending contract. We do with the school, but not with the town.
Okay, so that's not in our budget then. That's usually a pricey.
The labor line, I think is proven to be unpredictable over the last year or two. I don't think we've had a lot of activity there, but we have had some.
Okay. Well, we did drop by, I just, okay,
Yeah, this is the 10,000 we talked about
Yeah.
earlier.
Okay. Anything else on page 19? Good. Page 20, probate court, 1702. 83% increase.
based on
Person
population
cost.
again, yeah.
Right.
You know,
Nothing here.
no,
Page 21, town hall building. Minus 1.02%. We're doing postage, someone was asking about postage, line 14.
Bill, if we're consolidating postage, why did it go down?
My understanding is that by outsourcing that mailing, they get a better postage rate and they get better cost on envelopes and the like, so
Okay.
there's less.
I remember now, thank you.
There's a service or something there. Right.
Yeah,
Thank
that was
you.
a good move. Yeah, it was less labor and less cost
Right.
across the board.
Mhm.
Quick question, Bill, on line 16, heat, and it's relative to across the budget. Were you able to go back and adjust that across consistently? I think.
Yes, we use the historical quantities that we
Yeah.
budgeted at the new
Okay.
rate of the 266.
Because I think when we went through it originally as a group, there were a few that were up, that kind of missed the reduction.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
I
only,
believe
maybe it was only the fire departments, but which would be different. It might have been in their individual budgets, but.
that should be consistent if you will.
Okay. And then the electric across the board, we said 10%.
Yes.
I don't know how it can go up any higher than 30. I'm not debating the 10%. We're already the
Yes.
49th highest out of 50 states,
Check with Canada.
only behind Hawaii, but
Wait till we compare.
would we have any new news between now and the next 2, 3, 4 weeks that might give us more insight?
I can go look again. I haven't heard anything since we came up to the.
If the 10% is us, or are we
Unfortunately,
getting
it's-
anything from Eversource or from?
It's really just us paying attention, talking to our, to next gen, our contract. Because we do have a contract
Or electricity?
for electricity, but it's only the supply portion, the delivery, which is, I think, half the bill.
Mhm.
Yep.
So you're still at the mercy of on delivery. It's just a killer.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on page 21, town hall building? No?
no,
Okay, then we'll flip the page to 22. Fire marshal. 3.52%. Mostly on the salary line, 1,705 out of 1,805.
Yep.
I don't have anything here. Does anyone else have anything?
No.
You want to talk about? Go ahead, Steve.
Is this where we fund the potential boarding up the building that's been damaged, or is that the building?
Building.
Okay, thank you. So, kind of,
Oh, it's not here.
No.
Anyone else, page 22? Everybody good?
Yep.
Move on. Turn to page 23. Fire departments. Um. I think we've got more formulas here, Bill. No,
No.
it's not 100% increase, right? Something's happening here. Going from 992 to 1051.
I'll check it.
Check that out. So 60,000 on fire departments, that's a $12,000 increase. That must be the 78 to the 90 across the board. 12 fives or 60, right? That's what that
Mhm.
60,000 is.
Which one also includes-
That's it.
90.3. If you do.
Yeah. Might be 9.7.
Oh, yeah. sorry. 9.3.
The increases to the fire departments. I'm sorry, Rob, but what?
The increases to the fire department is the 60,000, 12,000 each. We went from 78,000 in the current year to 90,000
It was
in the new
was
year.
actually 11,500 for each department. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill. Thompson Hill Fire Department requested increase in rent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is that right?
They asked increase in rent?
Yeah,
Yes.
for the
The ambulance.
ambulance.
They
that's-
store the
Yeah,
ambulances.
Okay, so it was 78.
I know what's in their coffers. That's just being greedy.
What is the monthly rent? There?
It was 1,000, and they asked for 1,500.
Not obligated to that, are we?
Not have an ambulance in town. I guess you could play hardball.
Well, they're still making 1,000 a month. Doing nothing. I realize there's some electricity and so forth, but I drive by it every day.
What did Thompson Hill ask for a grant from us?
For
85.
Pardon?
the money they asked for us
Yeah.
last year.
No, yeah, for the coming year, the grant that they requested,
I believe Thompson Hill was 85.
and we're going to give them,
90.
90 plus an extra 1,500.
I don't know, give them the 85, man. What they asked for, giving them 100%. No, I'm not trying to be nasty.
You want to
with
do
them,
a community
You have
95?
a
Yes.
point. You're
No,
grabbing
but-
an extra
but-
5 and plus you're gonna grab an extra 500 a month on the,
but-
on the,
This is
on
offsetting
thing.
it, yeah, exactly, it's just
Yeah.
offset it, that's all I'm thinking.
No, I agree with you. You want 90, then don't jack the rent.
They're not asking for 90,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
we're giving them more than they asked for. so-
Bill has the notes. He
Oh.
looked at the notes.
Okay,
I was just going off the top of.
Oh, okay.
No, Thompson Hill originally asked for 90.
oh, they did ask for 90, all right.
So West Thompson was 85.
West, Quinnebog,
Oh, Quinnebog.
so East Thompson 90, Quinnebog 85. Community 95, West Thompson 85, and Thompson Hill 90.
Was 90, okay, so they're getting what they
What they
asked,
asked
what they asked for, not, okay, fair enough. Mm.
What was the debate, what was the rationale from the Board of Selectmen around level setting it versus leaving them at the different values?
Level setting which they're.
You look at all 5 to 90,000. What was the voice
Well-
tracker on that?
I probably would have leaned more towards 85 for all because I thought that was a significant increase from this year. My other two selectmen wanted to give them a bigger boost. Knowing, I mean, we sat in that first meeting with Chief Brower and Chief Fournier and knowing what they're up against, knowing, that they just can't keep up with the cost. So.
Yeah, give school, but they're fundraising.
So I would say that that was the reasoning behind it. And the fact that we've always equally funded them.
Mhm.
So,
So we went from 390, am I reading this right? 390 bill to 450,
Correct.
60,000.
Yes.
Five go.
Yeah.
60,000.
That's the 60,000. 11,500, Brian, per site, and then the other 6,000 is the $500 increase in the rent.
the writing's so small, Bill, you just can't.
Stop it.
You
a
want
good
my-
thing there's
Bill-
notes on the
Bill,
right-hand
You want my
side.
contacts? I put two in. I put two in coming today, so it gives me a little weird.
The ambulance rent is in line 10?
Ambulance service.
Okay, so the
Ambulance,
60 is fully for the
Straight,
for the
just
departments.
Right, and we want to,
Oh, so it is 78, it is 78 to 90.
right,
Yeah.
yes,
Got
it
it.
is.
Thank you. So it went up 12,000 per firehouse.
Sorry about that confusion.
no,
I didn't know my line.
This is always a tough one and it's a heartbreak, because 78 to 85 would have been almost a 10% increase, which is larger than most of the departments. And we're going to 90, which is 15% or so.
Mhm.
And we all want to do that, right? We could double it to 180 and they wouldn't have enough money. I mean, it's just it's always a very, very difficult one.
And you hear about a new fire truck off $1 million.
Right.
What is $5 grand?
That's right. Right, or 90 to 180. That doesn't give it.
Yeah, even there, it doesn't help.
Yeah, no, I understand.
well,
This is usually one we table, but if
Yeah.
anyone has more.
well, I think we can table it for tonight, but it's definitely something we're gonna have to come back to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As much as I agree, we could give them 180 each and it wouldn't be enough, but we need to come back
Give
to it.
anyone else that kind of a percent increase.
Okay, unless there's any actions you want to take tonight, we can come back to this after we kind of roll through everything.
Yeah.
All right. Let's turn the page to 24. Emergency management. This one's up 57%. $2,000.
That's all in the truck repair.
Yeah, that's the, right, truck repair for the new Tahoe.
We can't get a year out of just that new Tahoe, no maintenance on it, which is that new one.
Tires, right?
They already what?
Looking for tires.
That'll be in your next meeting.
So the tires are gonna be in the next meeting. Was this anticipation of having to do the tires?
I don't
If
know.
it was, it's an
No.
opportunity to get that in.
I think they're
one of
just
the
playing it
boards
safe,
suggested
but.
Suggested a line be added for vehicle maintenance.
Well, I
like
think
they
there
did.
should be a line for vehicle maintenance
The amount-
because,
Well, it's not always. If it's a newer vehicle, maybe.
right,
there's-
it doesn't have to be 2,000. I don't think that we'll be spending 2,000 on the vehicle.
For tires.
Well,
Thousand.
That's at least 1,000.
If they're asking for that now, it's not in this budget.
All right.
they'll be asking for that from the Board of Finance out of the proceeds of the sale of the ambulance and the Hummer.
Which they
Because
can-
there was still proceeds.
Yeah.
But that's for next week, the next meeting.
My notes only say that they're gonna add for Tahoe maintenance, but it doesn't talk about tires or anything else.
I'm thinking $1,000 for this generous.
So you're saying possibly drop to 1,000, but
Right.
you wanna revisit it later? You maybe
Yeah,
later?
I
No,
don't
no,
know,
no,
if there
no,
was some
we're
reason
gonna,
for it,
no,
I'd be happy.
we ought to just drop it now.
Yeah, I agree.
Instead of coming back to it, just,
I'll put,
not just my. I mean, a motion.
I'll make them, yeah, I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion to drop line 14 truck repair parts from 2,000 to 1,000.
I'll second it.
Yeah, the motion was to drop truck repair line 14 from the current ask of $2,000 to $1,000. Made by Nikki, seconded by Steve. Any discussion on the motion? Any discussion? Okay. No further discussion, we'll vote individually here. Nikki, how do you vote?
Yes.
Brian?
Yep.
Dave?
Yes,
Nathaniel?
Yes.
Yes.
Steve? And Rob Worge, I'll vote yes, so that passes 6-0. Anything else on emergency management? Up to page 25. Security. Security at BOE. All right, this is staff, security staff at the school.
why do we pay
Well,
that?
Yeah, I was, enlighten me on this one.
So I believe this dates back to when the security program was initially implemented. and it's-
Under the previous administration line.
Yeah, and the board has continued to fund it. What happens here is, mechanically, I let the salary spool up in security until they exceed $60,000, and then this money is shifted up there. So it's essentially an additional $60,000 into the school security budget.
But for clarification, Bill, please correct me if I have this correct, it's only a portion of the overall
Oh,
security, I mean,
yes.
a small portion of the overall, so this isn't
Right.
just funding the security at the school.
No,
No,
It's augmenting and helping a portion of it.
it essentially, it covers the director and maybe just a skosh more.
Okay.
And know that the staff is there when we have community events, not just school events. Case in point, when we did the presentation the other night, they were present.
Yeah.
When we have, some of the events that we're planning for America's 250, the security staff will be there to open up and let us in. They're also there for when rec.
We've had larger meetings that we couldn't
Right.
host in the current building, and
Right.
we moved them up there.
So it's an asset to the community, not just to the school.
All right, but this is basically salaries.
Yes. It
Wouldn't
flows
4% be
direct.
a 4% increase be appropriate?
I actually asked Melinda that specific question. She appreciates the fact that the board has never cut or eliminated that line, so she didn't ask for an increase.
I wouldn't go there, Steve. Because then I'll ask, what's the exact allocation? You know, I mean, I think it's nice to continue it, but if we look at the exact allocation and use it 4 times, then it's gonna go in a different direction. Only one point of view. You have a point of view, just one point of view.
I have a question on this page.
What, we turn the page? or-
Oh, sorry, I
down
did
there?
turn the page. My
Yeah.
apologies. I'm on 26.
Nikki's moving. us.
Nice.
Thank you, Nikki.
He's pushing me.
Some of us weren't done evaluating that 60,000.
What's 60,000?
Yeah, for paying some guy to stay.
Canine operations,
Yeah, good.
2401, page 26, yes, Nikki.
The line item, shoot, where did it go? The vet services,
Yes.
that line item that used to be paid through the dog fund. If you're removing the $7,000, does that have to go back? How does that tie? I guess.
So we actually, for 2 years at least now, we've been paying all vet bills out of the dog fund.
Not the 7,000 we usually transfer in.
That was revenue coming into the town from the
From the
dog fund.
dog fund.
Okay.
And we did at one point have a budget for vet service, but I believe you can pay a lot of things out of the dog fund, but definitely not salaries, if I
Correct.
remember right. So vet services is one of the things that we've specifically done, and unfortunately, the sky can be the limit on some of these. I think we had another dog going
Yes,
for
tomorrow.
something tomorrow.
And you
So-
said that fund is down to
19
19?
and change, yeah, just 19.
Just our fundraisers kick in,
Okay.
sometimes just a campaign drive, do they Venmo now? Did you set that up?
Yes, yeah, they do have a Venmo, to try to.
Unfortunately, the dog tags that are sold,
Large,
we
yeah,
get $1,
it's ridiculous.
Out of the
All goes to
$8.
the state.
it all goes to the state.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't something that had to get added, that was missing on the page because of the difference.
We
this year.
literally write a check to the state for $7 times the dog tax we stole.
Yes. No, it did.
This is-
Never mind.
We keep it going.
It gets me going every.
The worst thing is keeping $1, we actually we write a check for 7 times the.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Rob, they're after motor vehicle, this is only the first cut. They want it all.
Okay,
That's- I'm gonna get-
keeping on track here. Any other
I'm gonna send them
questions?
my dog.
Oh, they do want it all.
You want, Steve, you asked, you had a question around the telephone?
The current year we're spending $2,700. Last year we spent $3,000. Year before that we spent over 30 grand, but we budgeted 1,000.
Which one?
I don't see 1,000, I see 3,000 in the budget.
It went up.
Yeah.
It was 3,000.
25's budget was 1,000, and I think that the comment to the.
It's up
right, we
by
had
2.
Moved a hotspot.
Yeah.
A few different things which drove the budget down. The increase is based on what we're actually seeing. So there's, I think we had a bad budget in 25,
What's budgeted now? I'm sorry. Must be
3,000,
3,000.
3,000.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Take back everything I said. That's appropriate. Yep.
That was 318 and 24.
Yeah. Anything else here? It's a 6.8% increase across the whole department.
Telephone.
It's all over the telephone.
Yes.
That's it. Basically.
We could do Morse code.
Telephone and salaries.
Just suggest.
Better pager.
Yeah, do they just run with a cell phone? Like, what? Is this a wall phone? What's $3,000 a year? It's $250 a month.
It's probably the Ring camera system too.
That's also hitting.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, isn't part of this the upgrades that are state required that she was talking about, or is that not in this? Okay,
That's her wish list.
okay. But those are coming from the state?
2029,
Okay.
There's some modifications that we can make that aren't as elaborate as maybe we would dream of,
Mhm.
so.
Got it.
Right.
Okay, 3940 overall. Any questions here? No, it's good, let's turn the page. 27, Public Works. This is the town garage.
Yeah.
Yes.
How their phone's doing it. Electricity, that's the 10%.
Yep.
The fuel's down through the new contract. And building repairs are flat after the BOS adjustment. From 35 down to 30.
Based on actual.
Mhm.
Any other questions here on Public Works?
No.
Town garage, no, okay, let's flip the page. 28, Public Works, 3302. 3.81%. Total $50,000 up. A little over half of that is salaries, 28,788.
Here you'll see the increase in the equipment rental for the asphalt roller. On the board of selectmen changes.
That's the 4,000 to
Yep.
the 12,000.
Yep.
Okay. And
And I believe on line 39, equipment repair parts, there was a general feeling that repair line felt light.
And that was during Joe's presentation.
That's the engineer.
They get later.
any other questions, clarifications, comments here? Well, I don't want to keep harping on the electricity, but that's just this one alone, it's big when you look at the
10%.
10% increase, yeah. What have we done in years past? I mean, we don't get anything built? There's no like direction or?
Unfortunately, it's difficult to get a beat on it. I mean, I can fish around again. But 10% was sort of, it seemed like just a reasonable expected increase because of, like we said, we try to contain it with the supply portion, but that's the only extent of it.
We're gonna see it again in the library.
You'll see it, yeah.
It's all over the place.
Okay, any other comments or questions? This is a big budget. It's an important budget. It impacts nearly everyone in town. Everybody good here for a bit, or any questions here? Like none, we'll turn the page. Ground supplies fund. 14% up, $3,800. We're help down. Supplies are up 2,000, park maintenance is up 3,800. This was the library footbridge discussion we had.
Maybe the summer temporary line got some room.
Go down more.
Well, it's, the current year is, I don't think, spent yet. But last year, 24, we spent $1,300. 5,000 a year before that. I think it's nice to do, but I just wonder if it's a nice to do thing as opposed to a must.
That's mostly mowing, isn't it?
Right.
Just gonna ask.
Cemeteries,
Cemeteries.
some, always cemeteries and stuff like that, parks.
Getting cemeteries ready, right,
Yep.
that's exactly what it
Yeah.
is.
But we were able to do it with less money in the last 2 years. That's sort of my point.
We weren't able to hire anybody in the last.
Yeah,
couple
I was
of
gonna
years.
say, I think that was a hiring thing. Yeah,
And
Last year. we-
that don't hire.
we survived.
Would it be like more cost effective just to do like a landscaper to go and do it? And have like a set contract with them rather than hoping that we find people and. You know, because no one really wants to do it like for 32 hours a week and what he's offering for the hourly rate, I don't remember, you know what I mean?
It
People-
depends on the cemetery. Because East Thompson, West Thompson, St. Joe, all are done by them. That's not a town cost.
Okay,
So it'll probably be Fabian, Wilsonville.
20 something. It's 20 something.
You know, I have the list at home.
It's
Yeah,
going down the road.
same list you had probably from your mom.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good thought.
I just,
I,
But if
because
I
I just
recall,
remember him last time saying like.
Yeah,
that
there's a
sometimes he
lot
gets
of
help,
little-
Sometimes he doesn't, and
Yeah.
so it's
like
like,
the Dyke
don't even use
Cemetery
any of
on
it.
Brandy Hill Road, that's done by the guy next door that volunteers his
Ours is
time.
too. Brian Fredo does ours.
Yeah.
Sometimes people help him, but this is not the sole labor to run the equipment below. This is supplemental
Supplemental to the
Yes.
staff,
to
yeah.
the staff. It's
Right.
meaning, it's not
So
like,
that the staff, the maintainers can
Well-
actually focus on construction season as well.
not to suggest we went to zero, but if we took out all summer help, you couldn't find any, the work still gets done. It gets done by a different set of people. So
Right.
I think to the degree we can get summer help, Steve, then the other guys can focus on roads and other.
Oh, playgrounds, that was the other, cemeteries and playgrounds.
Well,
Replacing
yeah,
mulch and
the
stuff.
parks, both, we still maintain Bull Hill.
Mhm.
Wilsonville Road, has got a town park on the.
Right.
corner, For example. Okay, any other? Maybe we revisit it, Steve.
Yeah, just maybe something to think about next year if we have issues.
I got a
Same,
question.
same, you know, the parks, ground supplies parks, line 12.
Yeah.
Again, I like to look at what we've actually spent in the past, and we spent $3,500 in the current year, $3,500 last year. We want 8,000. Wow. It looks like we're going up 2, we're actually going up. 4.5, doubling.
Not really going up with the maintenance as well.
Yeah,
So-
I agree, both lines are, it was the next line.
Well, we can come back to it if we want.
I think so.
Maybe we buy half of the weed whackers and blowers and buy another round next year. I don't know, we'll figure it out.
I mean, if there's something we really need, but we've been spending less than $4,000 a year, but now we need 8.
Okay? Everybody okay with flipping to page 30?
I already did.
Brian's already done it.
Excuse me.
Transfer station. 3204, 1.43% increase, a modest increase. 5,000 of that is salaries.
Right.
Yeah. Most of
So it's,
So 554 out of the 64 is salaries. Anybody have anything here they want to talk about?
No,
No. No. Okay.
We make money on recycling.
No, don't recycle.
We know,
We do get. We do get
Say the income was.
about 30,000. Actually, that we bring, there's a revenue line for it.
of course, the cost of transporting and all the rest is
You
security.
know, I mean, at least.
It's a hard one to answer, Steve.
It's
We have to buy the
difficult
containers too.
quantifying that, the expense side.
all right.
you know, we've purchased 2 containers in the past 2 years.
You gotta take the life of the container and amortize it out over the period too. But anyway, what's the answer?
You know?
We're expecting about $27,000 in recycling. Income in 25, we budgeted 30 for next year. That market has been, Joe tells me it's just drying up.
Mhm.
That's what I thought.
Some will tell you it's make believe,
Mhm.
but we did have cash in the door, so.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Page 30? Okay, let's move down, page 31,
It's a cemetery kid.
it's a soda. Cemeteries. $1,500, it's been $1,500 since I can remember.
Okay.
What does that cover?
Say again?
What does that cover? How is that, I guess, not trying to be facetious, but what is that different from maintenance side that we just talked?
I believe that's special projects that normal Lori puts on.
A lot of gravestone repair.
Mhm.
type
Right.
work.
Yeah.
Okay. I just was curious.
It's not really a lot of work because of the cost,
Right.
Probably.
She does a little bit.
a little bit every year.
It's a good question. Why is that?
You know,
She
the
does,
headstones
she
fall
does.
on the ground.
She does a lot with that, Nikki.
Mhm.
She really does.
Yes, did a nice job.
So let's move on to page 32, snow removal. Okay, page 33. No, Snow removal. Page 32. 18% increase. Let's talk about the line 14. That's where the BOS took it down 35,000. Where do we think we'll finish this year? About 230? That's the
Yes.
projection.
And that's, it's been there for a while, but I refreshed it today and it's still very close, so. Well, the good news is apparently we do have some salt in the shed. It's not empty,
Okay.
so.
Now you- I think Joe was gonna look
Cost.
at a different supplier, wasn't he,
He
in terms of salt? Did I
It's too big of a shed.
understand that correctly?
He did look at, I think earlier in the season, he
Right.
didn't like the
He didn't
quality
like
of
the
the salt.
quality of salt.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then he actually went back to the lower price vendors.
Right.
Now, do we get a cost differential because we can order en masse at this time versus one load at a time?
Well, the nice thing is he can order more to save the delivery charges, I believe.
So
I don't
it-
know that he ordered. You know, I don't think he ordered a huge quantity at the beginning of the year. 'Cause I
Well,
think
we
he was
didn't have
still-
the facility.
I think he was still hoping for a light winter at that
Right.
point.
I'm just wondering if, do we get a break because we can order?
I would say we do,
Yeah, I don't think we do. I think that,
It's straight by the ton,
right.
yeah, 90.
straight by the ton.
So is he adjusting, is he planning to have the same amount? And we have a bigger building.
Yep.
So if we had the same building, he'd fill it up at the end of the year, right?
Yeah,
Now, are we going with that same amount that would have equated to the old building, or are we?
I
we
think-
Planning to have more at the end of this year?
what we have there this year was the amount that, keep in mind, I think you all remember, 3 or 4 weeks ago,
I know.
we're in the thick of it. And
know.
I think everybody was scrambling to get salt, so
But we
he
were
ordered
good.
some and then the weather turned in our favor. So that's really, I don't think it was so much an intentional thing. I think he ordered what he needed to get through what
Mhm.
was trending at the time when
Right.
he ordered it.
Could you,
All right, so
And at this point, with the weather having broken and it's good, we have a a nice surplus to start next year, as long as the rest of this season stays.
But
So where I was going to my question was, can we get a measure of that surplus compared to last year's surplus?
Oh, I don't
For
know.
example, if that's,
don't know
if
off
that's
the top of my head.
1.5 times last year, then we may be more comfortable.
Let's put it this way. I'm just gonna share a little piece of information with you. You can cut this a little bit more. Just the scooch.
Before we do that, could you check on what, based on these numbers, what's he expecting to have at the end of the season? And how does that compare to last year?
How did inventory change? Is the question.
They have a bigger building.
Well,
He's
yeah,
trying to
I mean, full
find a
last
bonus.
year was 30 ton. This year, full is 60 ton, right? At the end of last year, we were at 20 ton. Are we gonna be at 50 ton this year because the bigger building and we're 3/4 full and we were 3/4 full
Well, we're
last year? That's,
Quarter-full, but.
no, but that's, I guess
Whatever it
that's
is.
what I'd like to understand, right? Like,
But it doesn't matter that, you're buying it by the ton,
Right.
it doesn't matter the size of the building. I mean, you just.
right, how many
You know,
tons
I
are you
think-
putting down? What's the starting?
What's that?
Looking at the
What's the
starting.
starting?
point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
can,
wouldn't touch it. I mean, you just knocked it down 35,000, all right? He's got enough to start the next season. That should cover the 35,000. I mean, I'd be very apprehensive to,
that's the average.
it's the average, but you know what?
I'll go do the standard deviation later, because that's what I'm
They-
gonna go
they
do.
cut it
And then I'll tell
35,
you
I-
next week what.
And
my
then what
thoughts are.
happens? We get whacked with several storms and next thing you know, they're coming back for 100,000.
Agreed, and I whacked this last year and everybody called me and said this winter was my fault.
And
I
that's
get
why-
that, But,
Why nobody talks to you, 'cause you whacked it so much.
Okay,
but I'm gonna go do the math and I'll talk to you next week.
All
How's
right.
that?
I'd like to have too much here.
I will get that information for you.
yeah, I'd like to understand what the starting point is.
I'd like to have way too much.
Yes, Bill.
to Steve's point, because we are over on this line, typically we would fill the salt shed if we were under budget. But being in
Right.
an over budget position, then we just bought what Joe felt was the minimum you could get by on towards the end of the season.
Yeah,
Oh,
I would
of the
say if you
current
had,
year
if you had
right now,
enough to
yeah.
buy extra
Okay.
this year,
Right.
okay, we could whack it down a little bit, but you don't have that.
No.
So you're gonna have
We're-
something that's
we're
gonna
under-
start next year.
Over,
Yeah.
over budget.
Yeah,
But
Okay,
it's still gonna change the
Yeah.
fact that the
Let's
salt
take a
is
look at
sitting
it.
there.
I'm gonna make
Let's
the
see how
numbers
much we
come out
use
that
and how much
we
we
need to
buy.
add another 50.
anything else? Any other questions? No more questions here.
No.
Let's move to page 33 then, please.
No questions on this one.
Building official. 49% increase.
This is the line with the budget with the emergency, I believe we called it, safety expense line 23. that Steve
Line
had asked about
23.
earlier.
$4,500 increase in safety expense.
Yeah, that's for the, to keep an inventory of plywood.
That's boarding up a house.
Board up,
Yes.
fires or condemned.
Think excessive. Look at what we've actually spent in the past years.
Yeah.
Most has been $100. More than doubling that. And I know lumber's gone up a little bit, but hasn't doubled.
I think this was also building stock that you'd have on hand and then you get reimbursed. This would all get reimbursed over time.
It's used, right?
So
That's
that-
not gonna affect this line though. Because this is the only expense side. You don't get, doesn't offset the cost.
No, I understand that, but. The point was just that he has room now to have the stock. He didn't have a place to put the stock before. He's gonna put it in the salt shed. So to your point, Steve, maybe you could build it up a little bit this year, a little bit next year, and then over a little, doesn't feel the pain all in one year, but he has a little bit more of a budget to have those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we agree.
I agree with Steve. I mean, $4,500 more. How many are we boarding up, in the course of a year,
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't have a problem at least, knocking it down 1,000 or 1,500, quite honestly. It was 2094, 2,000,
And if I recall the conversation, it was so far this year, which we're expected to spend 648, was a horrible experience because we had to buy it on Thanksgiving Day or something. I recommend we cut that in half.
is that a motion or just a discussion?
I'll make that a motion. Make it from 5,000 to 2,500.
So the motion by Steve is to make the overall budget on line 23, emergency safety expense, to move that from $5,000 to $2,500.
I'll second it.
And seconded by Brian. Any additional discussion on the topic?
Was there a
Any
downside
discussion?
to not having it?
The downside to not having it is you gotta buy it on site right away and you don't have it.
Well, it still gives them plenty.
Yes.
But it's
to-
still more than we've ever spent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
it's clear.
Yeah.
My only comment here is that I think if he does need more than that, this is a big improvement already. Let's look at it again next year and.
Yeah,
if
we'll
we
play
fall
off of it.
Short, or we need to add a little more on, and we spread it out over 2 years. So I like that. Any other comments or discussion? Okay. Hearing none, we'll vote. Steve, how do you vote?
Yes.
Nathaniel,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes,
Brian,
Yes,
Nikki?
Yes.
And Rob will vote yes, so that passes 6-0. Anything else on building official 3301? My only other comment here is that when we met earlier with the building official, there were a lot of grand plans and changes. It was gonna affect the revenue side. We didn't know at the time, but we learned tonight it's $30,000 up. So while he's putting more hours in and we're paying more and the salary lines are up,
mhm.
there's a lot of good
Yep.
work happening and this 30,000 offset a big chunk of that. So. Just want to note that and recognize that. Anybody else? Anything else on page 33? We'll turn the page, 34.
good.
Any questions here? 35, human services. 2.94% increase overall.
What's that?
Get rid of the humans.
This is where BOS made a number of changes. Any questions here? Questions, concerns, comments?
Yeah, our next meeting, I'll bring, I'd like to talk about Teague. The subsequent cut is, to me, sounds like a big cut, I'd like to talk to Teague about it. Shall do.
Amy, what was the reasoning for the big cut?
For Teague?
Yeah.
Well, Teague's request was $14,035 higher, so which represents about 25-ish%. Thought it was a large ask. We're using, Bill, I can't read this because it's really highlighted dark. We're using some of the opioid
6,000.
money to offset. So we're actually giving Teague
56,965.
56.9.
Yeah, so of the 15 that you're dropping, it 6 is coming back in.
I'm sorry.
Correct,
So it's a net 9 drop.
correct.
But that's we did that last year too, correct?
We did the opioid with 4,000. What are we doing?
So right now they're getting 54 plus 6 from the opioid, so 60,000.
60,000 is the actual amount that they'll
So
be
they're-
getting.
And they asked for 69.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's 9,000 less.
Mhm.
Okay,
Little tricky because opioid funds are off budget.
Yeah.
In the grant funds.
sorry, the 5750 and miscellaneous programs, you might have said that already. Where did that come from?
That was 5,000 where we removed the Eastern Connecticut Land Bank
Oh, right,
request
right,
in its
yeah.
entirety and reduced the QV's senior citizen.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions here? 2.94% overall. Steve would like to come back to it. Thank you. Page 36, veteran services. The ask was to go from a little over 4 to a little over 10. BOS dropped it by 3 on the salary line. Kept the office supplies in. You kept their meeting reduction, $100 in. Any other discussions here? 4,000 requested 10, settling on 7. Any comments?
Big increase.
Well,
Okay, if none, we'll move on to the next page 37, public health nursing. 12.66%. Not as much to talk about here.
No.
It's a, yeah, exactly. Other than, we've talked about this at least in the last 5 years. It just seems to be going up way disproportionately.
And
The rest of the
additionally,
world, the way the world's going.
you're talking about NDDH.
Mhm.
Additionally,
This is conversation going back to, Aaron days here.
what Luigi didn't tell you all, which I was kind of surprised he didn't mention it, was the state actually reduced funding to public health by 10%. So they were gonna see a reduction in the state funding by 10%.
Right.
So,
This is making up for it. or something.
no, this was before.
Oh,
That was the request before. They've made a lot of significant changes and we've seen a big change in their responsiveness as far as the building department and, septic system approvals, et cetera. So,
The service is better.
yeah, I think the new
12%?
director is doing a good job. Is it worth 12%? Maybe not.
12% better?
that was the best.
But the alternative would be to start your own health district.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do Okay. No other comments or questions, page 38, civic and culture. So do the library. 2%. Overall,
Mhm.
pretty much salaries.
Yep.
I don't have any questions or comments here.
That's from the salary for the directors because there's a new one.
Correct.
And someone lower.
Yeah.
rate.
Yes. Next page. Community center building. 2.2%.
Is the old tank on?
What?
The old tank on?
Yes.
I missed
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
Finally.
Homes there. There's still some work to be done. They were addressing some, I guess, contamination that apparently appears to have come from long before the library. I guess there was a gas station across the street or something.
Mhm.
Thanks. I was curious.
Two handles, golf.
Yeah.
I know you all remember that.
Next to Cumberland Farm. Okay, anything else on the community center building?
Mm-mm.
Okay, if not. Move on to page 40, celebrations,
I say we cancel celebration. Second.
not a motion?
Bring your own picnic.
Well,
Just bring your own picnic.
okay, time out. On a side note, this could have looked a lot different.
Yeah.
So just,
You're talking in code.
well,
Okay,
but no, the 250, right? Amy made the decision not to put the 250th in this budget.
Yeah.
Right? And that is a huge burden on the rest of those that want to see our town celebrate.
We'll celebrate 251. Okay, we'll go
I'm
251.
just saying.
Can I just do this publicly right now, Mr. Chair? That we have 2 towns that actually have contributed $5,000 towards one of our events.
2 towns?
Yeah.
Well, 2,500 each.
Townspeople
The
or
town-
towns?
No,
No,
the
the
town of Woodstock and the town of Pomfret.
Well, they can't have a celebration. They're too far apart.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah,
Instead of
they're
thank you.
Very nice.
Not yet.
We haven't received the money yet, but they have promised it to us.
Is that towards the 200?
It's so the reenactment that's
reenactment.
actually taking place on the Woodstock line.
Right.
So.
That's great.
I'm gonna go to that.
Okay. Any other questions about this 0% increase on celebrations?
All right.
Yeah. let's move to
Sorry, Amy, I just forgot that.
Line
It's good.
41, Historical Society.
Are we off of parades?
Yes, we turned the page.
Thank you.
$6,000, 0% increase. No questions. Page 42. Recreation Commission. 7.39%. Vast majority of it is wages, but not all the 4%. There was an hours increase, if you guys recall.
Yep.
In the second line.
Yep.
Increased hours.
Does that come with increased benefits? In the benefits section?
What's that?
It shouldn't.
No, because it's still
Because
under
it
your,
was
I don't know what the.
It was
municipality-
28,
above the
so
threshold
they,
already.
it was under benefits.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, threshold was 32.
Bill, remind us how much revenue was brought in? Well, you call it income. but How much is brought in? Recreation?
That's off budget, isn't it?
Yes, it goes into the 99.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it doesn't go in here.
No,
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't go into the town.
How's that been tracking, Bill? Did you see that?
Yes.
And
they
is
do-
it
they
like
do-
somewhat like as their costs are floating, is that floating up with it and?
We had a hiccup 2 or 3 years ago where there was a real collection problem coming out of COVID. That is, it's not completely gone. I think people got used to not paying for stuff. That peeve of mine.
Mhm.
But
Like
like
what was it?
Brian is kind of fighting that and it's improving.
Good.
He's also paying there was also a little bit of the hiccup was pricing of programs, specifically bus trips.
Mhm.
That was, they were running in the red and
Mhm.
we had a lot of conversation around the. We're not looking to make a lot of money on these programs, but they've got to at least fund themselves.
Right.
Yeah, and then I gotta say, I did take one of those bus trips just recently. And bus was not full. But, and that was part of the concern, right, originally, but it was pretty much a break even, but the people that were on it, the comments of the organization and how well it is. Definitely will keep bringing the people
Mhm.
back as they still see
Yeah.
it,
Good.
so.
Okay. Any other questions for anyone on?
Change from the prior.
Well, so I don't know, because when I got there, every one of the seniors that was sitting there was like, oh, it's not a school bus. So like the fact that even though they paid a little bit more, it was a coach bus and it was only 40 minutes away, right? So it wasn't like you couldn't have done it with a school bus when you're under an hour, but the ticket included that cost and everything else.
Appreciated numbers there.
The fact that like, you know, you're not trying to make $1 million on them going to this historic place to have a nice meal and to see the barns and all this other stuff in a school bus.
Okay, I'm gonna make a recommendation, we're at 4:09, we have one more round of citizen comments. I pretty much burn out after 2 hours, so is there any objection to, maybe starting back up on page 43 next Thursday?
Yes, because I just wanted to bring up a question.
Is that okay?
That's fine. Yes, I'm good with that.
Okay,
Mhm.
and Mickey has a question, I think.
I'm trying to find it.
We'll wait.
I can, well, no, it's on the Veterans Affair one.
Yes.
It was in the cost, the I think it was $2,000 cost of materials. I realized it as we flipped the page.
What page number?
I think it's 36. I'm trying to find it.
I believe that has to do with the new Veterans on the Month program.
It is.
Advertising.
So although it's written as office supplies, that's,
I think it's
Yeah.
not.
it's that. Okay, that's what I just. Cause I noticed, right, it's 25 projected to be only 200.
Yeah.
Right, and then you're jumping to $2,000 for office supplies,
Yeah.
where,
It's not office.
Okay. that,
So that-
thank you.
That's the.
There's probably advertising,
It's my
and
10,
notices
yeah.
in the paper.
Yeah.
that-
Bringing
Plaques and,
plaques,
Okay.
yeah, really, really nice plaques that you get for that.
okay, I just wanna make sure if you're cutting office supplies elsewhere, if he's. Thank you,
Okay,
now I'm
so,
thinking, yes.
okay, so we'll break, having gone through page 42. We'll start on 43 next Thursday. Next Thursday is also a regular meeting,
Mhm.
so we may ask for somewhat of a thorough but abbreviated updates from the superintendent and our first selectman, our finance director. Let's move on to item 4, citizens' comments. Any citizens, we'll start in the room, are there any citizens? Okay. Yes, please state your name. and
Just
treat it.
1081 Riverside Drive, in regards to the footbridge that's in there for Park and Recreation. I would behoove the Board of Finance to leave that line item in this year. If anybody, I use that daily. It is swaying anytime anybody walks on it. So one of these days, somebody's gonna go spying. I just hope it's not me.
Put a
that
net
don't.
underneath
Thank
it,
you for that.
save us money.
Any other citizens in the room want to comment? Seeing none, we'll go online. Are there any citizens online that would like to make a comment?
Thank you.
Citizen online, any comments? Okay, seeing none, Board of Finance member I'm gonna move on to item 5, Board of Finance member comments.
Just a reminder, I'm Zoom next week.
Nikki, Zoom next week. Thank you, Nikki. Any other Board of
long
Finance
as I can get
member
on.
comments?
Motion
No.
to adjourn.
Thank you all. It was a good night, a good kickoff, and a good night. Nikki, you have the motion.
I second.
Steve, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you, everyone.